Bring it back.
Hi guys, I'm Ivanos and welcome back to another episode of Car Mechanics Simulator. So today we have a bit of a rare beast. We've got a Nissan 2000 Skyline GTR. So they only made a very few of these cars, around 200 I believe. It's sort of about 1973. It produced about 190 horsepower from an inline 6, which we have got out and on the bench over here. So I took the engine out there. We've got that out there. The car in this assemble's a bit in a state. There's a bit of rust and stuff around the boot, so we'll have to get these body panels changed out. I'm not sure why it's all a bit mismatched colour wise, so we'll get that sorted, get it painted and get it fixed up. Yeah, a bit of a unique car, extremely expensive I believe now in real life, because they only made 200 of them and it's a bit of a collector's item. When they only did 200 of them, and then there wasn't a GTR till the R32, so yeah, a bit of a unique beast. So without further ado, we'll go and have a look at the engine. I think obviously this is modded content, as most of my videos are, so the stuff isn't always perfect. I think the original, this is an SR20 inline 6, originally it did have carburetors, but I believe probably by the 1973 GTR they had put a mechanical fuel injection system on it, so I'm not sure this is entirely accurate, but I'm not sure. I'm getting a bit out of my depth, so maybe someone in the comments can let me know if that's correct or not. But let's start to get this thing disassembled. Let's get the wires off and the distributor. I've got to get these stupid little clips off. Take that out. Yeah, so we'll get this completely taken down and then rebuilt back up. We can get this back in the car. We can then sort out some of the body panels. I've got most of the new panels I need ready and sprayed a good colour, so we'll get them on. And then we may look at respraying the whole car a completely different colour if we don't like it. We can have a look at that and see. So let's get these off. Take the oil filter off. I've tried to get some of the parts we're going to need. Wow, that's a lot of bolts. To speed things up, but invariably I've forgotten something, so I'll have to make a few visits to the shop to get the bits that we need. Let's get that off, and we'll get the spark plugs out. It is double overhead cam, which is correct as far as I'm aware. I think the SR20 was a double overhead cam, so that's good. Now we've just got a million little camshaft caps to take out to get these camshafts out. And also we'll get these off, and we'll also have to take the timing chain and all the timing gear and auxiliary belts and stuff off to get the camshafts, gears at the end of the camshafts off as well, before we can take the camshafts out. So this is not the most exciting part of the video. There's not that much to say other than just taking these off, really. As far as my channel is concerned, I've been really enjoying the progress we've made. I think as far as this video, we're up to 77 subscribers now, which is absolutely awesome. My dream would be to get to 100 subscribers by Christmas. That would be absolutely amazing. So thanks everyone who's supported the channel so far, and who leaves comments and things like that. It really does help. If you're new and it's the first time you're watching one, think about subscribing. It really does help the channel out, and we'll have sort of a variety of different videos, including more car mechanics videos coming in the future. So we are now just taking basically all the auxiliary stuff off, alternator, that sort of thing, water pump. 1973, it probably would have been an alternator, I guess, rather than a dynamo. Yeah, probably would have been. That's probably right. Take the timing cover off, and then we've got the timing chain and a little tensioner sprocket. Take the chain off, and then we should have the two cam gears. So now we should be able to pop back on the top and get the two camshafts to come out, which we can. And then the whole head should come off, basically. Like so. And then we can turn the engine over and start to take the pistons out of the block. So let's pop out of this, get onto the engine stand, rotate it through 180 degrees. Then we'll take the sump off the bottom. I've already drained all the oil out of the engine. Then it's just going to be a case of taking all the rod caps off, and then we can get the pistons out. Fortunately, with it being an inline 6, there's a lot of rod caps to do. Good job we're not working on like a V12 or something, it'll be here for ages. That's that. And finally, that one. So let's take all the pistons and piston rings out. Can't get to that one. Crankshaft's in the way. 4, 5, and 6. So we've just got to take the clutch assembly or the flywheel off, etc. And then we should be able to take the crankshaft out. And then that's pretty much down to the block, and then we can take the block off as well. So there we go. Oh, of course, I have to take the retaining bearings on the crankshaft out before it will come out. Let's take that off. 2 more. And then we should now be able to take the crankshaft out, which we can, and then hopefully the block should disassemble in a floating fuel filter. So now we're going to race over to the repair bench and just spam through all the random bits that I've got in my inventory that need repairing. I think I've got a few bits from other cars left in here which I haven't sorted out in my inventory. But we'll just repair everything and then that should give us everything we need. Okay, so let's head back over and now let's get this thing rebuilt back up. I've got a few slightly better parts, so we might get a little bit more power out of it. I think the model in this game was only producing about 150 horsepower, when I think the real GTR was producing sort of around 190 to 200, something like that. So we'll maybe be able to up it a little bit. We'll stick it on the dynamo and see what we get out of it. So we'll start back in reverse. We'll put the crankshaft back in and all the pistons in. That and that. Piston ring. Just a case of getting access to them. The crankshaft gets in the way a little bit. So what do you guys think of these videos? Do you enjoy them, or would you like them to see them done a different way? I know some people have done them as like time lapses, just but without any commentary, just you know, just a full sort of rebuild, but then fast forwarded into like a shorter 20-minute reclip. And they normally leave everything in, like the full suspension rebuild and all that sort of stuff. I've largely sort of tried to keep my videos sort of a bit shorter and do commentary, but I don't know, some people would prefer like a sped up time lapse of the whole thing. I can maybe try that if people would be interested in that, or do you prefer it with commentary? Let me know in the comments below. Always interested to hear what you guys think. So retaining the crankshaft back in now. Once we've done this, we'll put the oil sump back on and flip it all back over, so we're the right way up. There we go, last one. So stick the sump back on, like so. And we're going to hop out of this, use the stand and flip the whole thing back up the right way. So back into mount mode. What's going to be the easiest way of doing this? Yes, we'll do the head and all the camshafts first. And then we can do all the timing gear and everything after that. Like that. We'll put the spark plugs in later. So we'll have 2 new camshafts. And now we've got the laborious process of having to not have brought the right bits. So I need oh god, how many of them do I need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14 camshaft caps. For an inline 6. There we go. Now we've got a lot of bolting to do. So let's get these all bolted in. So once we've done this, we'll stick the engine cover back on. Then we should be able to stick the cam gears back on the end of the camshaft, put the timing chain back on, although I haven't brought a timing chain yet, so I'll have to visit the shop and get a timing chain. Get all that back on, and then we can put the timing cover back on, the alternator, and sort of all the auxiliary belts back on. And then pretty much we're there. Then we've just got sort of the intakes into the carburetors, spark plugs, clutch, assembly, and all that sort of stuff, the flywheel, etc. And then it's pretty much ready to go back in the car. We can then sort out the bodywork of the car, So we've got those panels to replace, and then we can dyno it and take it out on the track for a little bit of a test run. See how we get on with it. So almost there, 2 more to go. And that's one. Like so. So we'll pop over this end, put the cam gears back on. Oh, I've only got another cam gear. Okay. Like so. I forgot to get the timing chain already. Just bolt that water pump into place. Pulley. So I want timing chain on inline 6. Timing chain. Let's get that. Now we can bolt that back onto the vehicle, and then we can put the timing chain cover back on. Should be excellent. Oop, timing chain sprocket. Oh, god damn it. There we go. I think it's just like a tensioning sprocket, basically. Like a belt tensioner, but for a chain. So, get the cover back on, which is excellent. Wonderful. Then we've got the crankshaft pulley, put that in, wang that back on. Then we've just got the auxiliary belts to put on. Alternator. Wrong alternator. Wrong alternator for what I want anyway. For some reason in this game we have power increasing alternators. I'm not entirely sure how that's supposed to work, but it is what it is. So get that on, and then we just got things like the distributor. That put in. The rotor, distributor cap. Then we've got these, I always forget these stupid little clips. It's the most detailed part of this game, you have to put these little clips back on the distributor, and I always forget them, and then if you don't have them, you can't use the car won't start. It'll just say the parts are missing. It's just the most ridiculous thing in the whole game. But, so you just got to always remember to put those stupid clips back on if you're playing this game. And I almost always forget. So we'll get the cover back bolted down, and then we'll get the spark plugs put in. So 6 of them. Two to go. And there, then we can put the HT leads back on. Like so. Okay, starting to look pretty good now. So we've got things like a fuel filter. Then we can do the clutch assembly while we're here. So we've got a flywheel. Can't really see all this because of the stupid engine stands in the way. So the pressure plate and then the release bearing on the end to get this bolted in. Like so. We do have a new one. So carburetors, and I've also got an oil filter I need to buy as well. So we've got some very fancy looking anodized red little carburetors. Oh, they look very fancy, don't they? And then some, even some matching red air filters. So we'll get these 3 carburetors put on. As I say earlier, I don't think this is quite right. I think by the time 1973 came around, the SR20 actually did have sort of a mechanical fuel injection system. But there we go. I mean, they're kind of limited in what engines the modders have got available in this game, so that's what kind of makes it a bit hard for them. So let's just quickly grab an oil filter, and we can drop this probably back into the car. Not a fiddler, oil filter. So quickly mount that on the bottom there. Excellent, I'm pretty pleased with that. I think it's one of the better engines in the game. Sometimes some of these mods, the engines are just so completely inaccurate and unrelated to the actual car that it can just be sort of just a bit ridiculous. I'm sure if you watch some of my other videos, some of the engines are just completely unrelated. So it's nice to have one that is actually related to the car, and that's kind of nice. So let's get the bonnet up and use the engine crane to drop in this nice new inline 6, which hopefully it is done. There's a little bit Spartan in the bonnet here. I think there'll be quite a lot more stuff kicking around with the bits and bobs, but obviously it's just modder hasn't got the time to put all those little bits in yet, but it still looks pretty good from the outside. So let's move this back out of the way, and then look at what else we need to do. So we're probably going to have to go underneath, put the gearbox back on, connect up the drive shaft, because it's rear wheel drive obviously, starter motor, and the exhaust manifolds. Oops, blimey. The floor of the car is a little bit intrusive there. So stick the gearbox back on, like so, and then I'm going to try and pan around to get to this drive shaft. There it is. There we go. For some reason in this mod the floor of the car is like this hard white, makes it kind of hard to work around things. So we've got that in. We've got the front exhaust section which we can drop in, and then hopefully that should go to some manifolds which are in the engine bay. So we need to lower this back down, I think. Yes, then we can stick the starter motor in, plug that into the gearbox. So we should have the starter motor should be down around the base of the gearbox. Where is it? Oh, there it is. So drop the starter motor in. Then let's pop around the other side. Yeah, there we go. And we've got the two exhaust manifolds. Like so. That's kind of nice how they're like custom welded exhaust manifolds. It's kind of a neat little feature. Quite a high resolution model there, so it's quite cool. Quite impressed with them. So get them bolted in, and then pretty much just a case of let's put some oil in it while I remember. Why will you not let me do that? Glug 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 glug. Put that in, excellent. So let's close that, and then it's just going to be a case of sorting out some of these body panels. So let's take all these damaged bits off. Things like the headlights, is that front bumper. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. A little bit of a pitting or something going on there. Nice little GTR badge. Take the front mirrors. Definitely the doors. So we've got the rear boot lid, the brake lights, a very symmetrically rusted rear bumper, and then we should have another door this side. So I think that's sort of the bulk of the dodgy parts of the car. I sorted out all the sort of major rust in this game. You just use this welder, is all you basically do. You just click it and weld, and that fixes all like the core body rust. So I didn't really bother showing that, because it's pretty uninteresting. So I should have now matching doors to put on, and door windows. Starting to look a lot better already. I'm actually quite a fan of this colour. I might leave it in this colour. It's kind of like a sort of a dull green. So door and a window. Let's get all these put back into place, and then we've got rear boot lid, or trunk if you're American. Rear brake lights, like so. Bumper. License plate, which I forgot to put on. Apparently this is a Californian exam for some reason. I forgot the front headlights around this side. Another Californian license plate. There we go. So she's starting to look pretty good. I'm pretty pleased with how this has turned out. So I think the next thing to do is, I don't think I'm going to bother changing the paint colour. I quite like it. So I think the next thing to do is going to be to move normal mode and then move this car to the dyno, just to see what we're producing power wise, after we've sort of put a few little graded parts on it. Hopefully we'll be around sort of about the 200 mark, so we're accurate, but we shall see. Let's have a go. So let's see what she does on the dyno test. So it was 150 standard on this mod, which is a little bit low for what the engine should be producing, I think. So we'll see what it's doing now. Oh, 245, okay. We've slightly overdone it. Yes, a little bit too much, almost there, but there we go. Let's wait for this test to run down, and then we can exit. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that, that's not bad. Let's now move this car to the front of the garage. and then we can pop out in it and take it for a quick trip around the test track. As always, my test track driving is going to be horrible because I'm still using a keyboard. I should really sort out something like a controller or something for these little trips around the test track, because it's basically impossible to try and drive these things with a keyboard. It's not exactly the most accurate driving game at the best of times, but it's even harder with a keyboard. So, sounds meaty. Woohoo. Nice wheel spin off the line. Wheel spin in second. Can't imagine this thing's going to handle all that amazingly. Well, hey. So I hope you have enjoyed this video, guys. It's something a little bit different, and certainly one of the better models I think we've seen in the game so far. It's quite an enjoyable one to rebuild. Nice to do an inline 6. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Well, that's dented the new paintwork. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. If you have, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more Car Mechanic Simulator content. Thanks, guys, and I shall see you on the next video.